Hello and welcome. Before we begin, we'd like to take a brief moment to share an important disclaimer. The views, opinions, and statements expressed on the Rascals Lounge podcast are solely those of the host and guests and do not reflect the views of any organization, employer, or sponsor. This podcast is provided as is and is intended solely for informational and entertainment purposes. Discussions on this podcast may include topics such as politics, vaccines, the pharmaceutical industry, professional sports, esports professionals and organizations, content creators, music, medicine, law, science, psychology, herbal medicine, supplements, cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, religious leaders, faith-based beliefs, and other related subjects. All commentary is based on publicly available information, personal experience, or personal opinion. Any references to public figures, political parties, politicians, athletes, organizations, religious groups, or individuals, living or deceased, are opinion-based and are not intended as factual claims or statements that could harm reputations. No content on this podcast is meant to defame, discredit, or negatively impact the reputation of any person, group, political party, religious faith, or entity. The host and guests expressly disclaim all liability for defamation, libel, slander, or any misinterpretation of the views expressed. This podcast does not provide professional advice of any kind. Comments or discussions involving doctors, scientists, psychologists, attorneys, athletes, religious leaders, politicians, or other professionals, including those related to health, training, injuries, performance, the pharmaceutical industry, herbal remedies, supplements, cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, vaccines, or alternative treatments, are intended for general informational purposes only. Listeners should never start, stop, or alter any medication, treatment plan, religious practice, legal action, financial decision, or substance use based solely on content heard on this podcast. Always consult with a licensed professional or qualified advisor in the relevant field before making any decisions related to health, law, religion, finance, or lifestyle. The host and guests make no representations or warranties regarding the accuracy, completeness, or suitability of the information presented, and disclaim all responsibility for errors, omissions, or outcomes resulting from the use of this content. The podcast and its content are provided as is, without any express or implied warranties of any kind. By listening to, reading, or otherwise accessing this podcast, you acknowledge and agree that the Rascals Lounge podcast, including its host and guests, shall not be held liable for any interpretations, actions, or consequences resulting from the content of this program. We strongly encourage all listeners to think critically, do their own research, and form independent judgments before acting on any topic discussed. Listener discretion is advised. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Rascals Lounge podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rascals Lounge podcast. Well, today we got a special guest, and this young guy is special. And no, he's not into gaming or none of that stuff that we're so used to, like listening to on the pod, professional league, esports players, none of that. This young guy doesn't like gaming. All he likes is politics. He's actually running as a Republican candidate for the state of Iowa, House of Representatives. So on I think District 81. Dillon Fillion. How you doing, Dillon?
I'm doing good, Jeff. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. So, Dillon, I see you're growing pretty much on X, man. You're just like climbing up and climbing. A lot of people are getting to know you. How is it that you kind of like got into politics? I mean, for someone at your age, what are you, 21 years old?
So Jeff, I'm 21 years old. How I first got into politics was I was very interested in what they were doing to Trump during the 2019, which was the height of the Russia collusion hoax. And I was genuinely curious because I was like, I didn't care about politics at the time, but I was just curious why the heck they're calling our president a Russian agent and everything else. And I'm like, this is pretty serious stuff. Like, what's going on here? So then I started looking into it. Come to find out it was a hoax put on by Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. And I found out that was a lie that they portrayed on the president. And I was just curious, what else do I not know? And then I started looking into all the scandals and what was going on. And I'm like, this is not the America that I read about in history class. And it was very insane because you would think, like, as the greatest country in the world, why would anything like this happen? This is terrible for our country. So then after that, during COVID, I started to engage more. I watched the 2020 election. We obviously all know the result of that. We still have many questions on what happened during that election. And during COVID, I just got sick and tired of the mask mandates, the vaccine stuff. I felt like I was forced to get the vaccine. I got the vaccine twice. And I just felt very pissed off. I felt that I was being forced to do something that I didn't want to do. And I just started engaging more and more around 2020. And the 2020 election was, um, there was a lot of weird things going on there. And I just really got pissed off to the point where I didn't even want to wear a mask anymore. I didn't want a vaccine, and I just got really pissed off, like some people did, and I just became very engaged with it. I started doing Twitter Spaces, and eventually in 2022, when I moved back to Iowa, I worked for Marionette Miller Meeks, and I joined at the tail end of the campaign, more in September area, and I help the campaign out win by 6 points. That was my first ever campaign I volunteered on, and then I went to go on to work for President Trump to help him win huge in the Iowa caucuses, and I helped out a little bit in the general election, but not much. But during that campaign, I made 95,000 phone calls. I knocked on about 1,000 to 2,000 doors, and I worked extremely hard for President Trump. I put miles up on my car. I helped out wherever I could, and obviously, it was a huge team effort, and we won very huge.
Wow. That's a lot. So you what really got you into politics is because you just got fed up with all the baloney. Wasn't
Yeah.
Adam Schiff like the leader of that freaking hoax?
He was. He was one of the main leaders. In fact, he went on national television many times and said Trump was a Russian agent and all this other stuff, and he had all the evidence in the world to prove it, even though that there was no evidence that showed up. So, it's quite funny how all of a sudden that comes together.
You know, it's crazy that people will lie and lie to the point that they believe in their own lie so much that afterwards they'll forget that it was a lie and they'll believe it so cold-heartedly. I mean, I believe, in my opinion, that's what I believe that he fell into. Adam Schiff, like he lied so much about it and so much. And people will ask him, okay, then where's the proof? Tell us, show us. Okay, where you got this information? Oh, it's from a source. Okay, no. Where is the proof? And there was no proof. I mean, yeah, they just make up so much stuff that you just like don't even know what's true and what's not true because it's like there's like what some people say, the more you repeat a lie, the more people will believe it. And I believe
You
that's what
know,
happened.
and that's very sad because unfortunately those are some of our elected representatives. Um, who unfortunately represent us inside Congress. And it's very sad that we can't even trust our own government to actually do its job. So, and that's to protect the people. And I feel like when you can't trust a representative, I feel like you shouldn't keep on voting for that person. But unfortunately, Democrats keep on voting for that type of person. So, um,
Yeah. Well,
and and
I
and not to say both sides are corrupt as hell.
yeah.
There have been Republicans that have lied, there's been Democrats that have lied. However, I think it's very important to the point where, um, you should be you should be electing your representative, uh, so they actually represent you and not represent something else. So,
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, I think now with the voter ID being in place, I think now a lot of people are gonna get different. There's gonna be different results in at the booth, because now you have to present, ID to prove that you're an American citizen, and it's gonna be tough now. Now, not anybody could just walk in. Okay, I want to vote. Okay, show me your ID.
well,
And
and Jeff, it's quite funny, like Republicans, like we have control of the Senate, and the Save Act is in the Senate, and it's kind of funny that why isn't the Save Act passed? It's been in the Senate since I don't know, like 300 something days. Why has or I think close to that. Why hasn't it gotten passed? What is John Thune doing? And And from what I know, Mitch McConnell and Lisa Murkowski are against the SAVE Act. You know, it's unbelievable to me that this hasn't passed yet, and we have a Republican Congress.
Yeah. There's something weird going on. I don't really don't understand it myself. There's things that I just see and I'm like, okay, I don't get it. This is not right. I'm gonna be really honest with you. If the things were going on what's going on today, if this stuff was happening in the 80s or in the early 90s, people will have an uproar. I mean, wouldn't be going on whatsoever. I mean, I'm sure back then the Democrats of the 80s and 90s would be like, "Oh, we agree. We need voter ID. We need this to be, implemented." But nobody would ever think of that. Everybody would show their ID to go vote. And now, far as I see, like in California, it seems that they don't require voter ID whatsoever. And then you're like, okay, then who is actually voting? Now I mean, I don't know. Things don't seem genuine. And a lot of things for me just seems like there's a lot of corruption involved. That's what it appears to me. This corruption and there's the fake mail-in ballots and all this stuff and dead people voting. It's just like I don't know. There's so much things going on. It just like it confuses the heck out of me.
Well, I mean, that's politics for you. I mean, there's a lot of different things going on at all different directions, but at the end of the day, I think it's important for people to engage and actually participate in every single election. That includes the primaries. Jeff, if you live in a red state, the majority of that election will be in the Republican primary. So if we want some of these Republicans to actually vote like Republicans, maybe we should get another Republican to primary them and get a better Republican in there. And people may say, "Oh, well, the primaries take place during summertime, and I only vote in the general election." Blah blah blah. Well, that's not an excuse because if you want stuff to change, then you got to start getting involved in the process. And I think it's pretty important that everybody around this country start participating in the primary process and actually putting up the candidates that will actually do the right thing and win and play the correct game so we can get honest people back in Congress doing the people's work. I think that's pretty important.
Correct. So
And by
how
the way,
im-
that goes for every level of government. That goes for every level.
okay. Midterms is very important. It's
It
very
is.
important.
It is very
Very
important.
important. Now, we're seeing some big changes. Like, Jasmine Crockett is no longer going to be where she's at, and some other folks as well. I think people are starting to get the grasp. Like, okay, wait, this is not who I want to represent me. I need some changes.
Well, well, Jeff, I think it goes to show that, I mean, I'll take Senator Kennedy's quote for a minute here. I mean, the Democrats just make a mistake, but they have to make the mistake 3 to 4 times just to make sure it's the correct mistake to make. So, it's quite funny how the Democrats just think, oh, we're just going to keep on promoting our woke policies and all these other policies that's unpopular with the American people that lost some 7 swing states and the popular vote in 2024. But hey, they're just going to keep on doing it. I think the Democrats have been getting taken over by the far left, which is the communists and the Memdamis of the world and the Jasmine Crockett's. And I think it's showing that the Democrat Party, there's no room for moderates. If you're a moderate, you're not a part of the party. That's just what I
Yeah.
see.
You know,
Because look what they did with Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin was a Democrat all of his life, and now he's an independent, and he voted
mm,
with the Dems a lot. So it's pretty interesting.
I mean, Kennedy was a Democrat,
John
and
Kennedy was a Democrat.
yeah,
He's one of the funniest people in the Senate.
yeah, and some
I'll
others,
never
and yeah,
I'll never forget his joke. Um, oh my goodness. He said, name two things that don't hang themselves: Jeffrey Epstein and Christmas ornaments or something like that. In
shit.
the middle of a Senate hearing room.
Oh
Oh my
man,
goodness. That was funny.
wow, man, it's crazy out there, man. There's a lot of things going on, and I'm just like, holy smack, I hope everything kind of like blends in. And you know what's really crazy? Not all Democrats are like, bad or evil or just
No,
or
they aren't.
so uh or have, Trump derangement syndrome or anything. Because look at Fetterman. I like Fetterman, to be really honest.
I think John
He's
Fetterman is really seeing that the party that he joined when he was 18 years old is no longer the party that he
Yeah,
joined. I think John Fetterman is really seeing the fact why people dislike the Democrat Party. I think he's seeing how woke his party has gotten, and I think it wouldn't surprise me, Jeff, if he switches over to an independent in the next few months here, because the way they're treating him is unbelievable. And John Fetterman is more of a, I would say, a Joe Manchin Democrat, and he's not as far left as I would say Chuck Schumer is in regards to that.
yeah. I mean, Fetterman, I like him a lot. I mean, I was talking to a couple buddies of mine, and we were just talking about Fetterman, and I was like, somebody told me, will you vote for him if he ran for president one day? I'm like, I'm going to be really honest. I would. I mean, obviously, if it's Marco Rubio's not in that race, because I like Marco Rubio a lot. Um, but I don't know, man. It'll be tough. I mean, I wouldn't be disappointed. I'm going to put it that way if he ever wins, because he's a common sense type of guy, and I like common sense type of people. I don't like extremists, and I know there's some things. It's like I tell people, listen, I I I I agree like 90% of what things that Trump does. There's 5% of the things I don't agree with, certain, or 10%. But 90% I do agree with a lot of his policies and everything. There's some ways that he could go about it, but hey, but it is how it is. It is what it is. Nobody's perfect. Everybody is human. So, Fetterman, same way. He has certain things that he believes in, obviously, but there's a lot of stuff that he believes and he agrees and he roots for, that I'm in the same boat with him. It's unfortunate that there's not a lot of Democrats on his side. To be really honest, I could probably count with my fingers, and it's sad because they are now giving him the elbow, and he's such a really good guy. I mean, he's very down to earth. He doesn't even hardly wear a suit, too. You know.
Well, I personally would not consider voting for Fetterman just because I disagree with his views. But however, I think John Fetterman is really figuring out that the Democrat Party is not the party that he joined, like I said earlier. I think he's what I think he represents Pennsylvania, like a Pennsylvania senator should. Um, but again, though, we'll have to see in this next election here if he'll be the next if he'll serve a second term, because I think he's really seeing that the Democrat Party is no longer the party he joined.
Yeah. Like Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard is a Democrat. She was. Well, and Trump picked her up.
She impeached Trump.
Did she really?
She did. She voted to impeach Trump in 2018.
Get the heck out of here. I didn't know that. And
Mm-hmm.
what are the odds that Trump goes ahead and picks her up? Wow. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. And now Tulsi Gabbard is working in the Trump administration. I mean, think of this, Jeff. Trump has two Democrats working for him. He has RFK and he has Tulsi Gabbard.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody, but however, it's just quite awesome how the Trump administration is able to work. You know.
Yeah, that's like I think people kind of like forget that he's not all about just you got to be only on this party and that is it. I mean, because he picked up Tulsi, he picked up Kennedy, and they're just phenomenal people. They're doing their jobs really, really well. Even if he picked up people that ran against him for president, like Marco Rubio, and look at
Well,
his, look now they're in the
I
same
think
team.
I think I think that's a little different though, because at the end of the day, that was 2016. Um, I think those flames have been pretty well put out. I think the Republican voters, however, have figured out who they can trust and who they cannot trust, which I think that's a pretty important dichotomy today because when Trump first got in, we thought we could work with all the Republicans in Congress. Well, unfortunately, that was not the truth because we did not, like, for example, Speaker Paul Ryan rejected Trump's border wall. And I think that's pretty important to understand that we are fighting against the establishment swamp, and the swamp is on both sides of the aisle. So
Yeah,
we still have a long way to go with in regards to draining the swamp. But however, I feel that it's gotten better since Trump entered his first term.
yeah. Wow. Well, I hope I'm sure everything's gonna work out good. I mean, because he also had look, if Tulsi tried to impeach him, JD didn't like him. I'm like, Trump, you're surrounding yourself with people that never liked you. Now look, they're working for you. Now they're doing phenomenal. I mean, it's funny because I saw some videos that JD's like, no, I don't like Trump. I mean, they're old videos, but still, I think
Well,
people, once they get to meet the president, get to know him personally and sit down with him and talk and get to see his point of they change. Look at Bill Maher. Bill Maher this guy was so anti-Trump, this comedian. He gets invited to the White House to sit down. He comes out like, I like the guy. It's like, wait 1 second. He was just so phenomenal. He was nice, and they got along.
I think Bill Maher's a different story too as well. I think the reason why he went was because the president invited him.
Yeah, well, it
And
was
he
because
spoke
of
about
Chris
that.
Rock. Chris Rock, he's
Well,
friends with Chris Rock, and
no,
Chris Rock said, "I'll make it happen."
Kid Rock,
Kid Rock, Kid Rock, sorry.
Kid Rock. And I think Dana White was there as well.
Mhm.
The JD situation, I understand that JD did not like Trump at the time, which that is true. He did not like Trump. But however, I think he really admitted when he was running for U.S. Senate, he was speaking in the Republican primary debate, and he said that you know I may not I may not have liked Donald Trump in the past, but however, I really do like him now. And the reason is that I really have figured out that I was lied to that whole entire first administration about the guy, and I think he even apologized during that debate and said, my life has changed since then. Um, I'm I think he really spoke to the point in regards to why he didn't like Trump, which honestly I understand because there's a lot of people that are now a part of this movement that did not like him at the time because they weren't sure about the mainstream media and what was saying, and I think Trump has really almost made the media dead. To be honest with you, because the Washington Post, from what I understand, I remember reading a story at least a year ago saying they lost over 600,000 subscribers from their newspaper because of how much
Wow.
lies they're telling. So
Yeah,
it's insane.
it is. It is, and I'm gonna be honest, right now, I don't even watch the news anymore. I get my information on PBD podcasts and listen to Patrick Bet-David and get my source
I watch
there.
them every day. I watch them every day.
Yeah,
I've
me
I've
too.
connected them a few times, so I really enjoy our conversations. Vinny, Tom, Pat, Rob are great, and Adam are great as well. They're very great people, and I love hearing their different perspectives on uh, different issues. And I think it's important to have that open dialogue too, because here in America, even if you try and talk to your leftist friends, some may you be able to have a conversation with, some you may not. Um,
True.
and I just it's really sad that we can't have a civil discourse anymore, because people are so divided in their views that people get really pissed off and will call you all types of names just because you believe in something. And I believe in America that we should be able to have these civil discussions. I mean, look at what Charlie Kirk did. Charlie Kirk literally went to college campuses and literally let people who were on the opposite side of the aisle of him literally come up and speak, ask questions, and ask anything. So, and I think it's really important to have those civil discussions. And rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. It's just
Yeah,
very sad what happened to him, and it's sad that our politics has gotten to the point where the far left thinks it's okay to kill their political opponent. It's sad. It really is.
it
And
is.
even there was a poll conducted where it said, I'm pretty sure it said 24% of Democrats, far left Democrats, believe that it's okay to assassinate their political opponent. I think Republicans were polled as well. I don't remember the number on that, but however, it's very sad.
It is. Now, Dylan, when you were getting into politics, okay, who was the person that you kind of like admired? Was there a president? Was there a senator? Was it somebody like wow, I want to be like this person?
Well, well, how I started to get engaged in politics was obviously I saw President Trump. I saw what he was doing. I saw the great things that he actually did, and I actually just happened to do my research on him, and I happened to find out, wow, this guy did a lot for America. This guy did a lot. He built things. He helped people out. He gave people a lot of money when they needed it.
Hmm.
He was a very great person. And I'm just watching the media attack him and say all kinds of false things that they know aren't true. And it's just quite funny to see that, because um, the guy was liked by everybody on the Republican side and Democrats. And then all of a sudden, when he's announced to run for president as a Republican, he was called the worst things in the world. He was a rotten, they called him a rotten, nasty scoundrel and everything else. And it's just very, very bad what they did to him.
Yeah,
I just saw that and I found out his story. I saw what he did as president. I was a huge fan. And I think it's pretty important to know the truth about a person. And I think President Trump did a lot of great things for this country that people should really admire. And but unfortunately, the media doesn't tell you the truth, so a lot of people won't know about that. And unfortunately, the mental disease of TDS, of Trump derangement syndrome, is a lot of leftist minds.
yeah. I mean, he has done a lot even before he ran back in the 80s and 90s. I think he even helped out Jesse Jackson and um,
Martin Luther King's family. I think he helped out a little bit too. He
yeah,
flew them from somewhere.
yeah. He's done a lot, but then as soon as he ran for president, it's like okay, since you're not one of us and you're not coming on as a Democrat, well, we're gonna hate you. We're just gonna go against you. My thing is, my thing is, why, in your opinion, why is it that this is so overwhelming and so against Trump? This has never happened to any Republican president. Only Trump. what was it? Because he didn't decide to run as a Democrat, or was it because he didn't accept, these sponsors, these people, and get their money so they could have a little bit control over him? It doesn't make sense because Reagan didn't go through this. Bush didn't go through this. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I think the reason he didn't go through was because, well, first off, Ronald Reagan was a great president. Ronald Reagan did a lot of great things for this country. Um, Ronald Reagan is also a different time period. I think if you look at today's politics and what happened after Reagan, in regards to wars and conflicts and everything else, um, I think you look at George Bush and you look at the establishment and you look at Barack Obama, you look at Joe Biden. I think Trump obviously, and you look at Hillary Clinton. I think all those people, um, I think all those people fit into a group, and Ronald Reagan was not a part of that group, however. But at the same time, Ronald Reagan was president during a different time period. He was meant for that time, and I
Yeah.
think President Trump is meant for this time. However, I think it's just all an establishment group that just that is nasty, and if you're not a part of the group, we're going to destroy you. And I think that's just the mentality of the establishment. I mean, you're bucking the status quo. They don't like that, and you're not obviously following their orders. So I think that's clearly the reason why is that he's not a part of the group, and I think President Trump saw that these people don't care about the people that they represent. So President Trump actually wanted to be the person that actually represents the people.
Yeah. I mean, he's done a lot of changes, and you know what? If you have him uh as someone that you're looking up to, Dylan, he's a good guy. I mean, I know Mike Tyson could tell you on a personal note, because when Mike Tyson went through some issues, Trump is the one that defended him and took his back. And he's done a lot of good things, a
He's
lot
a
of
very
good
loyal
things.
person, President Trump is. He's a
Yeah,
very loyal
very
person,
loyal. He
and
believes in that cold-heartedly. He believes in loyalty, and I could tell.
same here. I believe in loyalty too. I don't like it when people stab me in the back. If you stab me in the back, I will never forget that. I'll forgive
Yeah,
you, but I'll never forget.
correct. Yeah, because you can't trust anymore. I mean, politics is politics, but my goodness, play a fair game.
Well,
But not a lot of people like to
well,
play fair game.
well, I think the best part about me entering politics is that I've really figured out who my real friends are. And I've really got some people out of my life that I didn't really need. So I think it's pretty important. Um, uh, just however though, I think people need to understand if you want to get into politics, you better just get ready for what's what's to come, and just to figure out who the real people are in your life, because you'll have some people say some nasty things about you.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I remember he
so
stole the bubble gum. He's a thief and a convicted felon. They make anything up.
oh
I
yeah,
was 9
sure,
years
oh yeah,
old. I accidentally. Yeah.
President. Oh yeah, like remember when Eugene Carroll couldn't name where
Oh gosh.
when she had when she had sex with him? Like it's insane. She couldn't even name when she had sex with him, but somehow he sexually assaulted her. It's insane. Like they'll say anything to destroy the guy. It's insane. But again, that just shows the media. And by the way, the media reports as if it's like the gospel truth, and it's insane.
Yeah. I mean, if it was another president, if it was a Democrat president, they would have just kept it hush hush. In my opinion,
Oh, oh,
they would have
oh,
like,
oh.
well, we have to really verify this because I don't know. We don't know. We don't want to make any assumptions, but we have to verify this information.
It's
And
okay.
then
Oh, it's
on the other news, well, we're talking about the gas price, or we're talking about, they'll immediately cut it off real quick. But since it's Trump, definitely. Oh, she said this, and you know, and it's like it's like right now the world of politics is so freaking crazy. Now, when
It's a
you
nasty
try
game.
to, yeah, it is. Now, when you wanted to get into this, did your parents like say, "Hey, you sure you want to do this?"
Well, my parents actually found out I was engaged in the world of politics when they heard I was engaging on Twitter Spaces and talking to all kinds of people on Twitter Spaces. For some people who don't know what Twitter Spaces are like a public town hall, so anybody on Twitter can join and listen and speak on them. And my parents just found me. It just happened to find me in my room one day, just listening to his Twitter space and speaking. And I used to host my own Twitter spaces with a friend of mine named Phenom, and that's her online name. I'm not gonna say her real name
Correct.
on camera here, but uh, I did a lot of Twitter Spaces with her. We had a lot of great guests. I got to speak to Carrie Lake, Brandon Herrera, who's running against Tony Gonzalez in Texas for Congress. I've gotten to speak to a lot of great congressional people, as well as I got to speak to Keemstar once and Donald Trump Jr. So
Really?
it was pretty interesting. Yeah, yeah, it was a good time.
Wow. How was that about?
I forgot. I think we were talking about crypto or some other political topic. I forgot what we were talking about, but you could probably find it online. It was
Mm,
pretty interesting. It was a good time.
wow. So you talked
A- and
to
uh and I also debated Harry Sisson in front of 700 people, and Tim Dillon just happened to be on that Twitter space that night, and I kind of kicked Harry's ass a little bit. So um in
yeah.
front of everybody. So and yeah,
Now,
that's what happened.
my thing is that I noticed that, for an example, Harry Sisson, these guys are so I mean, anti-Trump. And I just see the stuff that they post. I mean, Trump could come out with a cure of cancer. They're gonna say, "Well, you're damaging Earth because I mean, they're gonna make something up." But I'm thinking to myself, are these people getting paid to be this way? Because it just doesn't make any
Oh, they
logic.
are. They are. They get paid by somebody made a video on where their money's coming from. I mean, they get paid by all sorts of people on the left.
Uh,
There's all type of leftist organizations that pay them. And it's very corrupt personally in my opinion, but again, it's a business, you know? Um I,
they're probably
I
like, I
guess
mean, in my opinion, I mean, I'm speculating because I don't know. I don't have any facts on that, but I assume they are getting paid because this just doesn't make sense. So they say some things that it just doesn't make sense. Their post stuff online is just like very vile, very hatred. And I'm like, okay, somebody with common sense, normal human being doesn't put stuff like this out. They're for me, they're getting paid lots of money. And I believe that once they turn off their cell phone, they're like, "Oh, thank God Trump is actually really doing this. Thank God he's really fixing this up. We need this, and we need to make this work out because you know it doesn't make any sense to me for them to be so on the contrary of every little thing. They won't post the celebrations that Iranians are having around the world, but they will post, oh, some Americans just died. Dude, this is freaking war. In a war, people gonna die. And you sign up. Soldiers sign up to go to war, and they know that they're gonna, either live or die. But you're gonna die for your country. But
I
you
think
know,
I think it goes to show that the mainstream media won't report both sides of a story. I think it's pretty sad that the media can't report both sides of the story because they have such a hatred for Trump, and it's only because Trump did it. It's only because Trump actually helped those people that they won't report both sides, and it's actually really sad. But again, it goes to show that they have Trump derangement syndrome, which some people are actually studying if it's a mental health disorder. which it wouldn't surprise me. But like
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me either.
so much people have so much hate in their heart that they will not even give somebody credit. It's really sad.
It is sad. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now. I mean, it's like some people ask me, "Oh, what do you think about Obama?" I said, "Obama was cool." I mean, I don't agree with a lot of his politics, a lot of his things, but there were certain things that I agree, and some things I even like the way how he conducted himself as a president. He knows how to talk. He has this posture to himself that I wish every single president would be like. But, I didn't like the way, like, he kinda, like, resolved certain things. He resolved everything a lot with money. "I'll pay you, but keep the peace." I understand that, but you can't give Iranians money because, that regime just, like, look at now. They just took the money and abused it, and, God knows what they were doing with it. Now Trump has to go ahead and clean up the mess. Biden wasn't gonna do nothing. So Trump's now trying to fix up all the mess that certain administrations didn't do properly. I mean,
Exactly.
I give credit to where credit is due. Upgrade your screen time, whether you're gaming, working, or just browsing, with Gamer Advantage blue light blocking eyewear. They are expertly crafted for gamers or for anyone that's in front of a screen for long hours. Featuring Resme lens technology, these glasses are engineered to minimize digital eye strain and shield your eyes from the detrimental effects of blue light. Doctor recommended, potentially boost focus, and significantly enhance sleep quality, ensuring you stay at the top of your game. Visit gameradvantage.com for more information and use promo code RASCALS at checkout to get 10% off your purchase. I do earn a commission when you use the promo code, which helps sustain and grow the podcast. Once again, visit gameradvantage.com for more information and use promo code RASCALS at checkout to get 10% off your purchase. Then, you got these people online that just they're just getting paid. I mean, in my opinion, they're getting paid. I just don't believe anybody in their right mind and heart, they're doing this because they're really convicted and they really truly believe this. It's like, oh, he's a racist. Okay, now how is he a racist? He was never racist before he ran. And they just feed off on that and just feed off on that and just put out that he's a racist, put out he's a racist. And I'm like, you know how many black friends Trump has? He has a lot. He had people that have lived in his house, stayed at his house. Like the one of the football players, Herschel Walker, knows him from the days when he was young. Knows Trump.
Well, and it's actually like quite funny that people want to call Republicans and President Trump racist when the Democrat Party was literally the party that was the one stumping the Civil Rights Act back in the 60s for 75 days. Um, and it's actually quite disgusting that Democrats want to call us Republicans racist and President Trump because I don't know, it's just insane. Like these people need to read up on history because the Democrat Party has always been the party of racism. I mean, we can go back through slavery, we can go back through the civil rights movement. Democrats were literally the ones running the South that made those Jim Crow laws that restricted black people from certain areas. That was the Democrat Party, and it's just unbelievable to me. So.
Wow. When you worked in the campaign for Trump, what was it that you learned working on the ground that a lot of people don't see? Like we don't see, but what is it that you saw that we don't see?
I think on a large scale, I think it's pretty important to understand that when you run a large scale campaign, there's levels to it. For example, you have the top campaign director, which speaks directly to the president. You have the other director that's below him, and then you have the field operators covering. Um, for example, I just covered the ground, but the guy who's above me covered a certain region of the state. and it was his job to make sure that the president wins that region that he's in charge of. So, and then that director tells me what to help with the volunteers so that we can go out and door knock and help get the vote out. Because
Mm,
on large scale campaigns, obviously you need a lot of money, which is pretty important. But I think people got to understand that there's a lot of ground game, there's a lot of foot movement, there's a lot of things that goes to a campaign to make that ticker on election night go up, and it's pretty important. And I guess when I got into it, I didn't realize how large scale of a campaign it really was, in regards to that and the type of levels there is on a presidential campaign, which I thought was interesting because you're kind of running, it's kind of like a business, except it's not. It's not a business. It's just like you're just trying to reach goals and make sure those people get out to vote. So it's pretty interesting how it works. And I'd recommend if next presidential election, I recommend some people join some campaigns and get involved and know how that process works because it's
yeah.
pretty interesting.
Wow. Now, I've been seeing a lot of comments of people, no, I'm an America first. No, I'm MAGA. What's your opinion about that? What's your opinion about these new upcoming
Well,
movements now?
there's a difference between America first and America only. America only is obviously America first, but America only is America only, which America only is basically the stance of what people took in World War II when we didn't want the United States to be even involved with anything in regards to the war.
Mm,
And America only is like, oh, we're just gonna stay in our own little bubble here in America. We're not gonna get involved with the world. We're just gonna stay in our own little bubble. Well, here's the thing: is if you know history, that obviously does not work because World War II came to us. We did not come to World War II, and there was many instances on where we should have gotten involved in the war, but we chose not to do that, and then we got a surprise attack from Japan on Pearl Harbor. So America only is a little section of I would say, the Republican Party. Um, I would not classify Nick Fuentes as a part of the Republican Party because that group is, those are not Republicans. Um,
yeah.
uh, America First is obviously putting America first in every single foreign policy that we make. Making sure we're not going into endless wars, making sure that we keep the peace, in regards to our country with other countries, making sure our relationship with other countries are strong. That's America first. America only is we don't want to get involved in anything, and we're just gonna stay in our own little bubble, which obviously doesn't work. So, I think you're seeing these little bubbles pop up in regards to the Republican Party, but it's really a small secular group of people involved in those groups. But however, the bigger majority of the Republican Party is MAGA. They're reasonable people, and they love the president, and they want to vote, and they're very great conservatives. So and they want a great country. And I believe the Republican Party is the one that's going to bring that great vision that President Trump has been talking about to the American people and make it a reality. And this vision will last outside of the Trump presidency when he's out. And I think it's pretty important that we carry that vision and continue to make good policy in order to make it a reality.
So you believe after Trump leaves office, MAGA will still go on?
I think MAGA will still go on. I think Trump will. I think Trump will. I think Trump will obviously still be involved. He'll have to endorse people. He'll still be the top dog. But however, I think it's pretty important that I think it's pretty important we know who wants to lead the Republican Party because we cannot risk another Democrat president. And we need at least 8 years of good success in this country in order to get our country back on the feet because the Democrats have held power for over the last 15 years, and that hasn't helped our country at all. So,
You know, I have this is something weird just popped up in my mind. If Trump can prove that the 2020 election was stolen, which in my opinion is just my opinion, I believe they cheated away because there's no way possible Biden had more votes than Obama. I don't care. It's impossible. But if he could prove, is there a way that he could go into another term? Because they stole it from him. They have to give it back.
I mean, here's the thing: is this is what I think. Um, I think personally, 2020, there was a lot of weird things going on. I personally don't believe Trump lost that election. I just don't. Just because the numbers just don't add up. The math ain't mathin'. But
Same
I will
here.
say this: in Wisconsin, they actually Trump actually proved his case in Wisconsin, and the Wisconsin Supreme Court actually said that um, Trump was right. Joe Biden did not actually win Wisconsin, and the mail-in ballots did have fraud. There was fraud going on in Wisconsin that affected some things, but the Wisconsin Supreme Court basically said to Trump and his lawyers that, oh, yeah, this happened, but we're going to make sure this doesn't happen again. Well, come to find out, a few months later, there's a Wisconsin Supreme Court election. And then guess who takes the majority? The Democrats. And then guess what they do? They switch the ruling back. So Trump lost the
Oh,
case. So
get out of here.
yeah, it's again, this stuff happened in Wisconsin. The Wisconsin Supreme Court said Trump was right, and then when they got it, when the Democrats got the majority in the Wisconsin Supreme Court, they basically flipped the case. So
Jeez.
we
That's
originally
crazy.
won, and then they just flipped it, so they could allow the mail-in drop boxes and all the fraud to happen again.
You see, that's what I'm saying. It's a lot
See
of
why it's important? We
craziness.
got to participate in every election. We got to stay
Yeah.
engaged.
Now you're running for House of
I'm running.
Representatives, right?
I'm running for the Iowa State House here in District 81, which covers Northwest Davenport
Okay.
in Scott County.
Now, what made you do that instead of going for like mayor or something like that?
Well, this seat was uncontested in 2024. We had a radical left Democrat walk in, and I was born and raised here in this area, and I know this area very well. And I miss this area. I grew up here for 10 years of my life, and I always loved the area. And I'm currently living on my own now, and I go to school, and I'm studying a 2-year degree in criminal justice, and I work a job. So uh, I I wanted to run because I wanted to serve my community. I believe that when we have strong representation, a lot of great things happen in the community, and I wanna make Davenport even better. And under my opponents and the Democrat leadership, the Democrats have not made Davenport any better. Our crime is terrible here. The I mean, the taxes are interesting here. I and just there's so much other problems that I'm not even mentioning. But however, I'm running because I believe that this community needs a strong state representative, and I want to be the community's voice in the legislature. And I think this area has been needing a state representative for many years. And my friend Luana Stoltenberg, who won the seat in 2022 by 6 votes, was a great state representative, and unfortunately, she did not run for reelection in 2024. So we need to get better representation back in the seat, and I feel like I'm the guy to do that.
There you go, man. I bet it's hard. It's not easy.
I'm enjoying the hard work. I enjoy doing this stuff, and I think it's important that. And I've been door knocking, I've been talking to the people, and I think it's important that we have people who actually represent the people and actually want to meet the people where they're at.
Yeah,
Um,
because you're
and
studying too. You're in college and then you're doing this, and it's like, oh my gosh. No wonder your time is so consumed. I mean, I've been trying to get you on the podcast for the longest time and it's got to get canceled.
we've had to rearrange 4 times because I've had things pop up. So it's
Yeah,
my
folks that are
schedule.
listening, we had to arrange this like months because each time we have a date and we're about to do it, and then he's like, I can't today. Sorry, next week, next week. I was like, I'm gonna give this guy a month because honestly, something's going on. But then again, you're running for, to be up there with the big dogs. I get sports players, I get musicians, I get, these are a lot easier to get in, invited to a podcast. But getting somebody that want to run for House representative for a district there, that's a whole different ballpark, and then you're studying. And I mean, wow, that's a lot on your plate, man.
So, well, and also investing in my faith as well. You can put that down as well. So we got a lot of things to do, but I enjoy it, and I
When
think
you
it's
say
pretty
investing in
important.
your faith, you're like in church and stuff like that?
Yeah, going to church,
Okay.
and I'm currently in the process of recommitting my life. So we're currently doing that as well. So we have a lot of stuff going on, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's a blessing.
Now you got a girlfriend? You're thinking about getting married? Are you married already or what?
I want to get married, but I don't have a girlfriend right now. I'm still single. So ladies, hit me up if you wanna talk to
And
me.
he's a good-looking young guy. He's a good. I mean, but I'm sure you're gonna find someone, probably somebody in the political world, or probably a news reporter or somebody that you're gonna get
I wanna
along with.
find somebody outside of the political world. Let's just go with that.
Oh, really? Okay, good.
I want somebody outside of the political world, man. I don't. Yeah, we'll have to see where the who the Lord puts into my life. But I'm currently single right now, but I'm just fighting to do some great things for my state, my community, my country.
I got some friends that they're like I mentioned before, they're esports professionals, and these guys, they also stream online. And some tell me, some of them would tell me like, Jeff, I don't have a girlfriend, but I don't want a girlfriend that's into gaming, has nothing to do with content creation, nothing to do with streaming. I want her to be so different, so out of this, has nothing to do. I was like, really? They go, yeah. Said, but then how can she probably understand you? And so he says, I don't care. I'll help her. If I had to quit this, I'll do it just to be at peace. I was like, okay. Because they tried that. They tried it before, and some of them said it just doesn't work.
I think it's being in the world of politics is a little different than being in the esports world, but that's
Yeah.
interesting though because it's people obviously have their preferences. But however, like I said, man, I'll just have to see who the Lord puts into my life, and uh, I'm following Him, and I think I'm gonna go with who He puts in my life. So.
Now to decompress from politics, when you get home, there's sometimes you need to decompress. You need like, okay, I want to shut off my phone. I don't want to look at the news. I don't care whatever it is. I don't want nothing to do with it. What is it that you do? What does
I
Dillon do to just like relax, get his mind off of things? I know you're not a gamer, so you can't, go on that. So what
I
is it
I
that you do?
use I used to play NHL though. I enjoyed playing those NHL esports games. I actually used to play
Okay.
online, but I don't do that anymore because obviously my time is restricted and I have a lot of things going on. But however, what I like to do when I get home is I actually enjoy watching NHL recaps. I enjoy watching NHL documentaries, and I'm a huge hockey guy. I used to play hockey in my back when I was in high
Really?
school. And yeah,
Oh, cool.
I played all sorts of levels. I played against actually one NHL player who's currently still active in the NHL. His name is Rutger McGroarty. That's how you say his name. Uh,
Hmm.
and uh, I I actually practice with an NHL draft pick who's probably going to be in the NHL in the next few years.
Really? So
Yeah,
you, s-
My dad also used to play for the local professional team here, the Quad City Mallards, which are no longer in service anymore. But however, my dad played D1 hockey, and my dream was to become a professional ice hockey player. My dream was not to get into politics. I did not care about politics, and my family has always been conservative, always voted, just never. And by the way, my dad became a U.S. citizen about 4 years ago, and his first election he voted in was 2022. And
Mm.
he's a very proud American, and my family's always been conservative, always voted. Just we always remained just apolitical. We never talked about politics, but when it came down to voting, we always voted the right way.
Mm. Let me guess. You're Canadian?
I'm not
And
Canadian.
no, okay.
I'm American. I was born here in Davenport, Iowa.
Oh, okay. Because that last name Fillion, that sounds like friends,
Fillion is French.
It's
My dad's
French,
side of
yeah.
the family, dad's side of the family does speak French. French. My dad is actually from Winnipeg, Manitoba. So
Okay. Yeah, that's why it was really crazy to talk about French. I dug down a little bit on my side of the family, and of course I'm from Puerto Rico, but my grandfather on my mom's side, I think his mom, my great grandma, she was French. I was like, whoa, when was this? So I'm like digging
well,
up, and I'm
well,
like, oh my goodness.
well, Jeff, Canada's full French came out in that final game. So let's.
Yeah. What's your thought? You saw that game? That was wild.
I saw some of it.
Yeah.
I like I said, Canada's full French came out. That's why they lost. Uh, but I'm glad that America won, and it was the first time we won it since the 1980s.
To all my French listeners, I still love you, but guys, we gotta win one time. You guys
I
been
know, I
winning
know.
every freaking year since the '80s.
Hey, though, there was a tweet that Justin Trudeau put out and said, "Hey, U.S., you can't take our country, but we did take your sport, and your country may be up on the list." So it's quite funny. But anyway, my 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 Canadian friend said it's just a joke. So
Oh yeah,
we can
so
still have fun at the end of the day. I still love you guys. However, though,
yeah.
America's the best, though.
Yeah, well, it's how it is. I have a lot of Canadian friends that I work with, and I love them to pieces. They're really nice people, phenomenal people. I mean, it's I get my sources from them. It's like I tell a lot of people, if you're gonna get into politics, get your information where you really need to get it, because you're gonna get a lot of people lying to you. A lot of people are gonna start putting stuff out. You're gonna get lies. Just don't do that. Get your source directly from somebody that actually lives in Canada, that actually lives in certain parts of the country. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. And this is gonna be a little bit of switch up. When Hillary was running, I would ask when she was running against Trump, I would ask the Haitians where I work at, and I said, "Hey, I remember when you guys went through that earthquake. Hillary was down over there, and there was a big thing about sending money to you guys to get your homes rebuilt. What happened to that? Because I remember, a lot of people were
She stole the
donating.
money.
They
She
all
stole the
tell
money.
me she is crooked. She took all the money. They took the money. I said, "What are you talking about? I saw this on TV that famous actors, I'm not going to mention their names, were donating money for the cause of for Haiti and all this stuff." And I said, "What do you didn't receive anything? They didn't fix your homes. They didn't." They go, "Listen, Jeff, they took all that money and left." I was like, "Oh my god." They said there was so much corruption in that. Nobody, and I said, "Are you gonna vote for her?" They go, "Heck no, I'm not gonna vote for her." I was like, "Oh, okay, interesting." Now I'm getting to know some more, some deep information here that I didn't even know. This is what they told me. And, I always say to everybody, get your information where really, get your information and make sure you get your information correct. My Canadian friends, I asked them, "Hey, but is I bet Canada's doing good because you don't if you live there, you don't have to pay health insurance, you don't have to pay." And they go, "Jeff, you know how long it takes me to go see a doctor when I'm over there?" I go, "What do you mean? It takes months." It takes months. They said the taxes, everything's included and on the prices. On something you buy here could cost you $10. Over there is going to be like 20 some dollars because the taxes are mixed in. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So the politics there is very, very different. Very, very different.
Well, I mean,
Sometimes I
Canada
don't
is,
understand.
I think Canada is on a constitutional monarchy system, which is a little different than our type of government. They have a parliament while we have a Congress, which is kind of similar, but it's different in the context of the way how they elect their officials. But I can't really speak on that. But however, Canada has a whole lot of problems. The Liberals have destroyed Canada. They have the young people have a hard time affording things in Canada because of the policies of Justin Trudeau and the Liberals. And by the way, the Conservative Party is just as corrupt as the Liberals. So it's
So it
kind of
goes
similar
both
to our
ways.
yeah, it goes both ways. It's kind of similar to ours, except their let's just say their liberties are not as protected as ours here. So
Mm.
I think it's pretty important to recognize how much of a blessing it is to live here in America, to have our rights protected. Um Unlike Canada where you can literally get arrested for speaking out against a certain thing.
Yeah. Wow. That's wild. It's kind of crazy how there's, different countries around the world, their politics are so different than ours, and I'm so used to of ours, how it runs, and I'm just like, amazed. So Dylan, what's the future with you, man? What are you gonna do now? This upcoming days and this month? I know you're knocking doors. Is anything else you're doing? Are you teaming up with somebody else, or you just do this on your own?
Well, currently, right now, I'm focused on my election. I'm focused on hitting doors and meeting people where they're at. Currently, right now, just we're just door knocking, and obviously, fundraising is continuous. So, if any of your listeners would like to donate to my campaign, they can go to dillonfillion.com and click the contribute button, and we'll take them to where they need to go. It's just door knocking, fundraising, door knocking, fundraising. That's just the biggest thing right now, and obviously, I'm running in a swing district, so the numbers are very close, so it's important that we all get out to vote. And we have a huge governor election here in Iowa, as well as U.S. Senate and a lot of our statewide offices. So it's pretty important we win these elections here and we take down the Democrats in this state because the Democrats are trying to gain power back, and we're trying to stop them. And it's important that we get the right governor candidate in there as well as the right U.S. Senate candidate.
And when is this election running? When is this going to be happening?
This is so the Republican primary is on June 2nd, and the November in the general election is on November 3rd.
November 3rd. Now to vote you in when is that, in June?
June 2nd is when you vote for me to become the Republican nominee, and then November 3rd is when you vote for me to be your next state representative.
Wow, will you be the youngest if you win?
I'll be the youngest in my county's history, but I will not be I will be one of the youngest in state history, but I will not be the youngest in state history.
Who holds that title, the youngest in state I didn't never
Joe,
heard of that.
my friend Joe Mitchell, he was sworn in at the age of 21.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy smack. That is young. That is young.
That's super young. Joe Mitchell's been a great friend of mine. He's actually running for Congress. He was endorsed by President Trump in the second district, and he's going to be a great congressman.
Wow. So will you be going to any Hawkeyes game in the near future?
I have not been to any Hawkeye games actually. I don't watch college football much, but however, I should probably start watching it more. But
You're gonna have to start. At least
I
go to
am
the
I
stadium and
I am
wave.
I am a Hawkeyes fan, but however, that area where the Hawkeye Stadium is really liberal. Really
Oh,
liberal.
really?
Kamala Harris won that county by 60%. So, um,
Really?
yeah, it's like
Wow.
Republicans are outnumbered 10-1 or 20-1, I
Well, it's
think.
probably
So,
because of the university or something. Because a lot of these
well, it
universities are
is.
liberal.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. You should see the way it's portioned inside the state house for that area. It's bad. There's only one Republican that represents part of that county,
Wow.
and that's a rural area that they represent.
Really? That's
Yeah.
crazy, man. Well, Dylan, I know the time is of essence, and you're a very busy man. I don't want to keep you too long. Thank you so much for coming on. We
Well,
got to
Jeff,
know a
thank
little
you for
bit.
having me on. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me on, and it's a great honor to speak to your audience. I really
yeah.
appreciate you inviting me, and it was a great time.
Tell everybody your socials, where they could find you, how they could reach you, etc. Go ahead, stage is yours.
Sure. So, if they're a constituent or an Iowan, they can find, or if you want to reach out to me, my socials are X at Dillon Fillion IA, Instagram at Dillon Fillion IA, and they can find me on Facebook if you just look at my name, Dillon Fillion, and I have my own page there. Um, if you want to reach out to me personally, I'd recommend you reach out to me on Connect, on Patrick Bet-David's app called Connect, and you can schedule a call there if you want to ask how I got involved in politics, know more about me, and just have a great conversation with me. You can reach out there on Connect, and please feel free to give me a follow on X, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Dillon Fillion IA. As well as you can find me on my website, dillonfillion.com, and I would totally welcome your contribution to my campaign. My campaign is total grassroots, and I would totally welcome any of you donating, and please helping me share that out, because I am not, no big funder is funding this. It's all grassroots people who go to work every day like you and me.
Wow, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. So, folks, please drop a follow on his X account. It's phenomenal. He's very humble. That's what I like about Dylan here. He's very, very humble. He didn't have to do this, and trust me, to bring somebody in politics. I don't care if you're a Democrat, Independent, Republican. I want to bring everybody on just to have good conversation, get to know a little bit more about them. Why do they believe what do they believe in? And how they got into politics, etc. Just to have good conversations. We need this uh, in America. We need to have good conversations. Dylan, thank you so much, man. Thank you for coming on. Truly appreciate it, and hopefully we'll come back around June. Let's see, because I have a good feeling, and hopefully you win. You deserve it. You're out there doing what you got to do, man, and talking to the people, talking to the youth, and hopefully you win this. Now, if you do,
Well,
don't
thank
forget about me. Don't be like, "Oh, dude, man, I'm like, come on, man. Now you're up in the house. Don't forget about us."
Jeff, you and your audience will always have an open door with me. So,
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, folks. You know what time it is? Till next time. God bless. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode on the Rascals Lounge podcast, and please don't forget to follow us on X and on your favorite podcast platform.